Hey guys, and welcome to a long overdue Trove video. I know. But today's video is going to be a Trove Let's Play all about the Baesmuth Dragon, or the Bay Dragon, as most people like to call him nowadays. The Baesmuth Dragon. I will be going over like what's been going on, the future and all that stuff, the new patch, the new heroes patch for Trove that's coming out in a couple weeks. We're gonna be going over all that stuff after I go over the dragon, because you guys know me, I like to keep the focus of the video at the front of the video instead of at the end, because that doesn't really make sense. So let's get straight into talking about the Bay Dragon. Baesmuth, actually one of the easier dragons to grind out in Trove. I just barely got him, but that doesn't mean the dragon's hard to grind. It just means that I haven't grinded him. And I finally decided to grind him out. Again, I know in the new patch they're buffing the drop rates for dragon egg fragments, and I will definitely be grinding out the other dragons after that. But right now, this is actually one of the easiest dragons to get in terms of like the Eclipse dragons. Some of those dragons take like hundreds of hours to grind. Let me just talk to Tryon really quick, guys. But Tryon, what were you thinking? I know it's been a while since Eclipse, but like, why would you ever make a dragon that takes hundreds of hours to grind? It doesn't really make sense. Which is why I'm really glad that they're buffing the dragon egg fragments in the next patch. And I'll definitely be, it'll be a lot easier then, because I heard it's like 300% increase to drop rates, which is perfect in my opinion. I feel like, you know, usually I criticize Tron on their balancing, but I think that's the perfect number. That was the number that I had in my head when I was thinking about drop rates, was around 200 to 300%, and that's what they think as well. So very, very good balancing there, in my opinion. But yeah, that's all for later in the video. Right now, we're talking about Baesmuth. I was mentioning that it is one of the easier dragons to grind. I think it took me like 10 to 30 hours to grind. I didn't keep track, mainly because I was like getting Infinium as I was grinding dungeons. Like we have Infinium right here. Anytime I would be grinding U9, I would just, you know, make sure that I would pick up all the Infinium and then continue on. And that's how I got most of my fragments. I did grind out, I think, the last two specifically by, you know, just running around farming all the Infinium everywhere. But, you know, we got like things like the weekly contest where you had to grind out Infinium. You got just grinding dungeons, you could pick up the Infinium and all that stuff. So definitely, if you have yet to pick up this dragon, I would highly recommend it, because it is definitely one of the easier dragons to grind out, especially compared to some of those other ones. But more specifically, let's talk about his design, because I know that's the main thing when we talk about dragons. We gotta talk about how he looks, or it looks. I should be gender neutral, right? Especially in 2018 with all these crazy things going on. But yeah, in terms of looks, I really like Baesmuth. I'm just gonna be straight up, it's not in my top 5, just because my top 5, like, I feel like those dragons were designed for me specifically. Like, all the dragons in my top 5 I absolutely love. It's all like designed towards my taste. I know they weren't. I know the mod makers didn't design them from my like mind, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're designed specifically for me. That's how much I like those dragons. So when I talk about a dragon not being in my top 5, the whole reason why I'm saying this and explaining it is because or when I say that they're not in my top 5, it doesn't mean that they're a bad-looking dragon. I mean, I actually have a lot of positive things to say about the Baesmuth. It's just the top 5 are so far ahead my top 5 that, you know, it just can't cut it for my own subjective taste. But I do enjoy Baesmuth. It is definitely high up there. Definitely top 10 most likely. I don't have all the dragons in front of me to know that for sure, but it's definitely high up there. And one of the reasons why is another reason why a different dragon was in my top 5. If you guys seen my top dragons video, or my favorite dragons video, I forgot what I titled it, but it will be in the top right card if you guys see the little pop-up that pops up there. A lot of ups. But yeah, I loved Tyserian because of his color, like, gradient. I don't know if that's the correct word. I'm not really an artsy person, but the whole thing of, like, when it's in the dark, it dims. When it's in the light, it shines. And Tyserian, that was one of my main reasons why I loved Tyserian. And Tyserian is in my top 5. Again, mainly because of design and stuff, but the color gradient was definitely up there of my reasons. And this dragon has that. So that makes me enjoy it that much more. Now, I know some people don't like the whole, like, color gradient type thing, where it changes colors, because it can be sometimes distracting, like if you're flying and your dragon is just like flashing different colors all the time. I can understand that, but for me, when you compare like this coloring, because look at it, it looks like metallic, it looks all shiny and stuff like that. When you compare this to, say, let's see, let's show an actual comparison. Say like Panatia, right? Panatia, man, I love this dragon. Don't get me wrong. Tyserion is in my top 5, and Tyserion is based off of this dragon with the coloring of the Baesmuth. So it's like a combination of both. But Panatia, just look at, like, the purple is purple. It's just gonna be purple, right? Doesn't matter if it's in the dark, it's in the light, it's just purple, right? It's the green is green, the yellow is yellow, the blue is blue. They're not changing colors, they're not doing anything. But for me, kind of the opposite of most people, I don't know why my brain works like this, but for me, this is even more distracting because the colors are too flat for me. They definitely, like, my eyes are being drawn to the dragon just because it doesn't make sense against everything else, right? If you're in the dark and your dragon is shining bright just because of its coloring, it doesn't tickle my fancy, I guess you could say. I don't know. It doesn't really intrigue me as much as a dragon like Panatia. Again, not Panatia, like Baesmuth. Again, I love both. I love Panatia, I love Baesmuth. They're definitely in my top 10. But for me, it's just more unique, I guess, the coloring. So that's why I like the coloring of it. Again, the reason why I wanted to explain that is because last time I was talking about Tyserion, and I was talking about the coloring, people were saying that they hated it because it was too distracting. For me, it's the opposite, and that's why I just explained why it's the opposite with an actual example. But yeah, so the coloring, I like the coloring. Obviously, it's the Baesmuth dragon. It's modeled after the Baesmuth crystal, so it's got the whole crystal design. It sparkles, it's got nice coloring with the sparkles, you know, a bunch of greens, blues, yellows, sometimes a little bit of purples, which you guys know, again, is one of my favorite colors as well. And the VFX too. The VFX are nice as well. They got the purples, the greens, the yellows, the whites, the blues, the light blues. Like, the colors of it are just nice. Like, they're nice to look at. They're very bright colors. They're not dim. They're not dark. They're not like reds and stuff that are, like, you know, supposed to make you angry. They're very nice and happy colors, or however you, I don't know. Again, I'm not an artsy person. I'm just coming up with all this in my head right now. But they're very nice colors to look at. So I like the color scheme. I like the metallic nature of the gradients over the colors. I like the VFX, and overall, I like the dragon. Again, just because it's not my top 5 doesn't mean I dislike the dragon. In terms of stats, we can quickly go over stats. It has 50 laser geometry, basically useless. There's probably somebody out there that will try to make an argument that it's not. To each their own, I guess. 1,000 maximum health, very, very good. A lot of people don't consider, but when you have 1,000 maximum health on like 10 different dragons, it does stack up, and it helps you immensely when it comes to grinding. So maximum health is very good. And then 50 magic, again, not as good as damage, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's better than damage, but it's definitely good though. And then 50 magic find. Who doesn't like magic find? You know, everyone loves magic find, especially Tryon. I mean, we have like what, 6,000 magic find now if you have all the dragons and patron. So Tryon definitely love magic find. And I'm sure most people do as well. I love magic find. Not as much as some people, I would assume though, because I do not agree with how many stellars drop at this point. But yeah, that's the dragon. Again, if you haven't grinded it out yet, definitely do. It's not very easy. It's not Kandorian Dragon. Kandorian Dragon takes like an hour to farm. It's not that easy, but since Eclipse onwards, it's probably one of the easiest alongside the Floral Dragon. I think the Floral Dragon was one of the other easier ones to get. So really, no real excuse not to have him at this point. My excuse was I just wasn't playing Trove, and that's a very good segue, I guess, to move into the next topics. So what have I been... We're going to go over this really quick. I know I spent the entire video talking about Baesmuth because I couldn't figure out the colors or how to explain the colors. But yeah, we actually spent a lot longer than I usually do on the dragons. Usually dragons take me like 3 minutes to talk about, and then we move on. And that's kind of what I was expecting. So let's quickly go over what I've been doing, the future, the new patch, and all that stuff. So basically what I've been doing... I've been playing Trove, just on Twitch, not on YouTube. I kind of got burnt out on making Trove videos, specifically, just because I was going a little too hard on them, I think. You know, I was making like 1 to 2 videos a day since January 2017. because of when it came out on console, and like, you know, the huge surge in subscribers and views and stuff was very enticing, which made me work really, really hard to, you know, get more views and more subscribers, because that's the point of YouTube. That's the entire point. And I think I just went a little too hard, and it got me really burnt out. Now, I'm not saying I got burnt out of YouTube, or I got burnt out of you guys. I love you guys. I love YouTube. This is very fun. I couldn't ask for anything better, but just more specifically, making Trove videos on YouTube was what I got burnt out with, which is the main reason why I haven't been uploading as much recently. I know I can make videos on other games, but you know, people don't really enjoy it as much as Trove, so sometimes I kind of think like, what's the point? But I know a lot of buts. There's been a lot of buts in this video. A lot of buts. This video is going to get unmonetized from how many buts there are, right? Yeah. See, there's another one. Anyways, moving on. Let's make this short and sweet. I'm interested again. I got the craving to make YouTube videos again, especially since the new patch coming out. I've heard a lot of good things about this new patch coming out. The heroes patch, the new class, and all that stuff. I didn't personally check out PTS, so I don't have my own opinions on the new class and all that stuff. But what I have heard from other people has been very, very positive. I'm very glad that Tryon decided to make a new class basically the center of a patch. Because usually, especially with the Dino Tamer, like, they just didn't spend enough time on him, I think. Like, he didn't have enough time incubating in the egg incubator, or however you would say that, right? I feel like a lot of people feel the same way as me with the Dino Tamer. The Dino Tamer was a huge letdown, so I'm very, very glad that they decided to put all their resources, not all, but most of the resources in this next patch into the class. The class is like the main focus, right? So I'd assume that they put most of their attention into the class. And I feel like that's what you gotta do when you make a new class, because a new class is one of the most important things that Trove can create, because we're not really getting anything else. So a class is extremely important, and I'm very, very glad, and it makes me very, very excited for the new patch that this this new class is turning out so well. So that is kind of sparked my interest in Trove again. And then that's also sparked my interest in making Trove videos again. So I'm definitely been craving it. Trust me, like, this past week, I've just been thinking about how, like, what new thing can I do? I'm already thinking about what new series I can make when it comes to Trove videos. And hopefully I can come up with some new ones. I do like to, you know, change things up. You know, you guys know me, I like to make new series, like, every month. So I'm already, like, in the process of thinking what next thing I can do on YouTube. But, yeah, the videos should be back. I know I say that every single time, but I'm definitely, like, trust me, I've been craving making YouTube videos. This isn't really... like, I'm not gonna be proud of this video as my comeback video. I feel like this video is gonna be very boring for the majority, but this is kind of just like an update video more than Trove video at this point. So yeah, I'm definitely craving Trove again, making videos and stuff like that. I feel like I'm gonna hold off on the guides until the next patch, because I feel like most people already know everything about the previous patches that I didn't cover. So we're gonna wait on the guides for the next patch, but for now, I will be back with the Let's Plays, you know, the Marketplace series, flipping again. I know a lot of people are anticipating my return to my flipping accounts. The 10 hours of loot videos, the box openings, all that stuff should be back from now on. The guides and the news, I'll just hold off for the couple weeks until Heroes comes out, and then I'll start doing all that stuff again, because like I said, I don't want to cover something that people have already covered. That's not really my thing, right? I like to be unique in my videos and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't want to make this too long. It's already kind of long in my opinion. I feel like I spent a little too much time talking about the dragon. But I hope you guys are, you know, I actually want to thank you guys really quick before we end off here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I want to thank you guys for sticking around for so long. I know I've been very absent this past, you know, few months, and we haven't really lost any subscribers, which means that most of you guys are waiting patiently for me to come back. So I do very much appreciate you guys for waiting patiently, and I definitely have the itch to come back, so I hope you guys enjoy the content to come. But yeah, that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, and if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button plus the bell next to it so you can be notified whenever I upload a video. If you would like to further support the channel, make sure to check out my Humble Bundle affiliate links in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.